Hi everybody, DUGROZ here with DUGROZ Reports. Welcome to another episode of Frugal Points, the series where I drive in my car and talk to you about the philosophical side of points and miles. Today we're going to be talking about simplifying your credit card setup and why it's so difficult to do so. As an example, I have a little over 30 cards with my wife and I combined. It might be 29, something like that. And let's say I just got sick of all the different variables. I want to simplify it down. I'm just gonna run with Chase and nothing else. Maybe the Chase trifecta plus one or two ink cards, and that's it. Well, that should be easy, Doug. Just call up Chase call up every issuer but Chase and cancel those cards. Why not just do that? Well, easier said than done. I'm going to use a series of analogies to describe why it's kind of difficult to do that. Could you use an analogy, Patrick? Yes, I will. And each analogy is going to be compared to driving or traffic rules and regulations in some way. If you like this type of content, please subscribe and click thumbs up. Let's dive in. So, why is it so very hard to simplify your credit card setup? Reason number one, the timing of rush hour traffic. If you've ever had to deal with rush hour traffic like on a commute, you know that sometimes exactly when you leave can make a big difference. I've seen people say things like, if I leave home at 7:30, my commute takes me 20 minutes. If I leave home at 8 o'clock, my commute takes 45 minutes. Well, you want to time it very carefully. You don't want to leave too early. You don't want to leave too late. You want to hit it so you avoid that rush hour traffic. In a similar way, when you leave a credit card or a credit card issuer, you need to make sure the timing is exactly right. Real life application. So I wanted to cancel my wife's IHG Premier credit card, but that credit card came with a free night certificate on your anniversary. So if I had canceled it 4 or 5 months ago, we would have got nothing. Since I waited until the annual fee posted, they deposited a free night certificate into her IHG account. I still had my 30-day grace period to cancel, which I did, and we got to keep the free night certificate because that certificate lives over at IHG. It doesn't live at Chase. Another consideration is a lot of credit card issuers will get awfully upset with you if you cancel a card within the first year. Generally, if you're going to cancel a credit card after year one, what you want to do is wait until the annual fee posts, call them within 30 days of that, and then they will refund it to you. One possible exception is Capital One. They're a little wonky, but that's how you want to do it most of the time. I've never experienced this, but I've heard people say in other data points that American Express gets really torqued off with you if you cancel cards within the first year, and that can be part of what puts you into pop-up jail. So you can't just cancel cards anytime you want. You have to be very aware of that rush hour traffic and make sure you leave at exactly the right time. Sometimes on the interstate, there's an off-ramp with no on-ramp. So you ever been driving along and you think I'll just hop off to get gas, and then you realize, oh my word, there's no on-ramp at this exit. I have to go like 5 miles further down, hit 20 stoplights to get back onto the interstate. It's a pain to onboard after you've off-boarded. What's the real life practical application? Well, there may be times, in fact probably would be times, if you cancel a credit card, you're never getting back on, or at least not for a really long time. As an example, one of the ways I'm strongly considering simplifying is by eliminating one major issuer altogether. And the most likely candidates are either Capital One or Citi, in that order. Capital One is kind of particular and weird about issuing though, and we've all seen lots of data points where if you cancel the Venture X, they won't approve new applicants. Or I shouldn't say if you cancel, but a lot of people with good credit, long-term, well-established credit, just for whatever reason, can't get approved for the Venture X. I'm lucky and I have the Venture X, so if I dump Capital One altogether, you know, am I ever going to be able to get back in? Or are they going to be like, nope, sorry, see you later, no on-ramping? City's not quite as extreme, but has some similarities to it. City has some velocity rules, and in fact, denied me for a double cash towards the end of last year. So I would have to slow my velocity way down to the point where I've only applied for like 2 or less cards in a 12-month period. Sorry about that. In a 12-month period before I can get back into the good graces of City. So if I off-ramp with either of those, I might have a hard time getting back on. Same thing with like the US Bank ecosystem. Some cards are easy to get, but the altitude reserve can be very sensitive to inquiries and those sorts of things. If I bailed out of US Bank, I might not be getting back in, maybe never, or maybe for a very long time. So you got to watch out for those situations where you've got the off-ramp, but you may not have the on-ramp. Situation number 3 that can make it difficult to simplify. The road is closed. This is not a perfect analogy, but I'm talking about card closures or cards that are closed to new applicants. For example, I have the Visa signature card from Wells Fargo. Well, that card isn't even issued anymore. I've thought a couple times I should just product change that to an active cash. It'd be a good way to keep like my second or third oldest card alive. The thing about the Visa signature is it does have this unique ability where for flights in their travel portal, you get a 50% boost, or you can buy flights at a 1.5x. It's a no annual fee situation, but if I product change out of that, that road is closed and I can never take it again. Another example would be the old IHG, I think it's called the Select Traveler card, or maybe just the Traveler card. This is the one that's got a $50 annual fee, something along those lines, and it gives a free night certificate. It's a smaller free night certificate that can't be topped off, and it gives you a 10% points rebate. So someone that had that card, oh man, cling to that for dear life and never let go. There's also like the City Prestige and other cards that are closed to new applicants. And even if your card isn't closed to new applicants right now, what if it is in the future? So that's a reason why simplifying is just a little gut-wrenching and kind of hard to do. Reason number 4 why it's hard to simplify: a new path. Have you ever been driving and you think to yourself like, all right, Doug, I am taking nothing but interstate. I know it looks like there's a shortcut, but every time you get off the interstate and try to cut across county roads or a state highway, it is always slower than you think. But then you're driving a familiar route and you notice they just built a new road. I've got to try it. I must try the new road. I can't resist. And whether or not it's a good idea, you've got to try it. Real life practical application. When new cards come out, for example, how tempting is it to get the Wells Fargo Attune card and give it a try just because it's new? Or the Autograph Journey. Or let's say City releases their new luxury premier card and it's totally awesome. You're halfway down that interstate of that old reliable path of simplification. All of a sudden, there's a new road and you see everyone else making videos about it and you just want to try it so badly. You just can't resist. And that's one of the things that makes it hard to simplify. Reason number 5 is when the signs change. So let's just say hypothetically, this one's a little bit of a stretch, but let's just say hypothetically, you've got a road through the middle of a residential area that you always take, and it's kind of a road less traveled with a lot of crossroads, and every 5 or 6 blocks there's a 4-way stop. Well, even if there's a lot of traffic, worst case scenario, to 4-way stop, you'll get to go because, you know, you can stop, wait your turn, and then go. It's not like the other way is free flowing. And let's just say hypothetically that's your best strategy for traveling this efficient route to your favorite grocery store or something. It's an old, reliable option. And then one day they change everything. One day they decide completely out of the blue, for no apparent reason, that all of those four-way stops are being changed. The road that you take, that you're on, now has a yield sign, and the crossroads have nothing. The stop sign's been removed. So every time you come to one of those intersections, you have to yield to everyone crossing you, whether it's one car, two cars, or 25 cars. And what used to be a reliable 11-minute trip to your grocery store now could take anywhere from 8 minutes to maybe 30 minutes, depending on those crossroads. Practical real-life application. A transfer partner changes or a limitation of some kind kicks in. What are you gonna do? I'm pulling over, which is why I'm looking at the camera more now. This has happened before. I had a strategy where I used to use the Blue Cash Preferred from American Express to do Walmart online grocery. In the past, I think this was before 2022, Walmart.com and Walmart Online Grocery were two different websites, and Walmart Online Grocery coded as grocery. So I got the 6X. I didn't have the gold card, but if I had at that time, I would have got 4 MR points per dollar. All you got to do is do an online grocery pickup order, go to Walmart, park your car, pick it up. Somewhere around 2022, guess what Walmart did? They merged their websites. They took Walmart Online Grocery and merged it into Walmart.com, so it no longer codes as grocery with American Express. It just codes as Walmart purchases. You're not getting 6X, you're getting 1X now. That entire strategy, which I relied on big time, is gone. And it can happen like that with no advanced warning. How about the great trick some people know of using Turkish Miles and Smiles to book domestic United flights very cheaply? I think it's $7,500 in economy, $15,000 in business class. Technically, it still works. Turkish didn't change anything. Citi didn't change anything. You can still transfer your points over to Turkish. United changed. They are releasing way fewer partner flights. So all of a sudden, your route that once worked amazingly well now doesn't work at all. Your tried and true strategy used to work, and now it's kaput. So, well, who wants to simplify and get rid of cards? Because if my tried and true strategy doesn't work, I might have to fall back on one of those other cards. So, there you go. 5 reasons why it's really hard to simplify using a traffic analogy. There's probably many more analogies you could make, or reasons why it's hard to simplify. Put your reasons down below. Let me know what I missed, or if you have any corrections for me, or piggybacking comments on what I said. If you like this kind of video, you would love being a DUGROZ Diehard. That's a channel member, only $3 a month, and you get access to lots of videos that are just as nerdy and oftentimes more controversial than this one that I only release to my members. You can cancel anytime. And as always, may your spending be frugal and may your points be plenteous. Thanks for watching.